So, people have been asking me, who do I think is going to win this 2023 Rugby World Cup, South Africa or New Zealand? I first have to say, and I've been saying this is a final made in heaven. This is a final made in heaven. This is the final any rugby supporter, writer, coach, whether you're just a neutral or a novice, you don't really watch the sport, this is the game you want to see. One and two of the world playing each other. Looking at the teams, looking at both teams, if I have to look at how both teams went through their quarters and semis, New Zealand, for me, had much more of an easier run. I think the only threat to their making the final was Ireland. And then they convincingly got rid of Ireland because Ireland decided to play All Blacks rugby. Kick to the line out, don't kick to the post, not taking their penalties, deciding to rather do a line out and try to run at All Blacks, playing almost All Black type of rugby against the masters of All Black rugby, and they got punished for that. And then South Africa had a very difficult time against France. Even though South Africa scored 4 tries, France scored 3. France was leading that game. It had to be a last-minute Henry Pollard penalty. Same thing against England. South Africa scored all the tries. England were just kicking all their penalties to the post. Every opportunity they got, they took a shot. And South Africa had to score another try, one try, and again, last-minute Henry Pollard penalty to win it for them. So, how am I looking at it this weekend? The Springboks, I hope they still... The funny part of the Springboks are like, if you've ever been involved in a fight, street fight or school fight or fight wherever, first fight, that guy you keep on beating and that person does not give up. In Afrikaans, hulle roep hom 'n kan nie dood. That's what the Springboks have been. They've been a kan nie dood. They don't give up. They keep on hammering away, keep on scrumming, keep on trying to get back onto the scoreboard and win. But then again, those were different teams, Northern Hemisphere teams. This is the All Blacks. These are one of the most deadliest attacking sides in the history of rugby. If South Africa makes the mistakes they did against England, against France, they could be looking at a long day of the office. You got Richie Mwanga, my favorite number 10 at the All Blacks. He's a Crusader, so I'm a big Crusaders fan. You got Will Jordan, who's currently leveled with John Alomo at 8 tries. If he scores a try this weekend, he's surpassed John Alomo to become the highest try-scoring winger in Rugby World Cup. I think he's chasing Jonah and Brian Abana. So he stands a chance to do it. So how do I see this going? I see South Africa, I see the Boks winning this. If they can minimize the mistakes, giving away unnecessary penalties, allowing the All Blacks entries into their 22, because if they do, the All Blacks are one of those teams that once they get into your 22, they come back with points. Maybe kicking to the post, maybe scoring tries, and they will. And making sure that their defense is airtight, not allowing Adi Savia, what is this guy, Aaron Smith, being able to do this little box kicks over the defense. If they're able to control that and have Damien Willemse playing more for sweeper role, they can keep them quiet. They have done this. It's the fact that you say that with the All Blacks, these are two teams that know each other very well because they play each other so much. Now, with New Zealand, because with New Zealand has attacking threats all over. Adi Savia at number 8. Number 9, Aaron Smith. Number 10, Will Jordan, who can literally do some magic. You got Jordie Barrett, who's quite good. And if South Africa give away penalties, even in the 50-meter mark, Jordie Barrett will kick it from there. You got Bowden Barrett, an attacking mind who always sets up his wingers. You got Mark Talia on the other wing, who loves to score against the Springboks. And it's very difficult to tackle. So New Zealand have threats, and New Zealand can easily, and I know people are saying it's wet weather, but have you seen weather in New Zealand? Have you seen when you go to Dunedin? Not now. When it used to be the open stadium, when they used to call it the House of Pain, they're used to playing in wet weather. The All Blacks, I think, in the Southern Hemisphere, those Southern Hemisphere teams, the All Blacks are one of the best teams playing in wet, rainy weather. They excel in that. So South Africa has to be able to nullify all these threats, diffuse them, keep them quiet, and then put pressure on them. How do we put pressure? How do we put doubt in the All Blacks? Disrupting their lineouts. I don't want to see this thing Ibn Itzebeth has been doing of not jumping up. He's just been watching the opponents jump up and he doesn't compete. We need to diffuse their lineup. We need to diffuse their scrums. We need to keep Aaron Smith quiet. We need to make sure that his box kicks are ineffective. And then we need to keep Jordie Barrett and Richie Mwanga quiet to not release their two deadly wingers, Mark Talia and Will Jordan. If we don't, the Springboks could be in for a long night. But I'm just going to say this now. If the Boks win Rugby World Cup number 4, this victory will go down in the history of sports. This will be on the same level as the movie The Cinderella Story, because this team has been had a gun pointed into their face on 2 occasions, and the only thing that gun didn't do is shoot. They survived 2 very difficult games. I know many people are saying they could be tired, they could be fatigued. I'm not sure. I'm sure the coaches, this is why they selected the team they selected. This is probably the most refreshed in the team, and the players that are able to recover quick. The only thing I'm worried about is the fact that we've just gone with one number 10, Andre Pollard, who's good, brilliant, very good kicker. But what happens if Pollard gets injured? Does this mean Damian Willemse moves from 15 to 10 and Willie comes in at 15? There's a lot of questions there. This 7-1 split thing can work, can be bloody good when your team wins and there are no injuries, can be very risky when you start experiencing injuries in your squad. So that's what I have to say on this. Looking forward to this game. Go Bokke.